Ange may be gone, but his players remain, and we are going to rank all 29 of them, all 29 signings that Ange Postecoglou's made in his 2 years at Celtic. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. We've got an entire list, yes, 29 signings in total, and I actually didn't think Ange made this many. And another thing that I have realised after doing this list is I think every signing that Ange made, we were led to believe was like an absolute stud, and that they were like a 9 or 10 out of 10 player, and that he was signing belter after belter after belter. And while I don't think you can deny that he has signed some quality players to Celtic, that is undeniable. After making this list, we have realised that he signed some not so good players, some players that either flopped or some players that never even got a chance, so therefore they probably weren't even good enough. So we're going to cover every single one of them since he joined, and maybe a couple of the first players he signed we can argue were already in the pipeline. They weren't necessarily his signings, but you know what? They signed while he was the manager of the club, so we've included them as well.
I'm buzzing to do this list. Cannot wait to get into it. I love doing these lists, and 29 players, man. And with Ange, you know what? He brought in a lot more good than bad to Celtic, so let's not pretend that he's a bad manager. He was the man. And I'm glad he's gone. So let's go.
He was the man, and you know what? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he takes some of these players to Tottenham, because I think there's certainly some players on this list that are good enough and could do a job at Tottenham.
I wonder if 29th place could do a job at Tottenham.
I think it's fair to say the guy in 29th place could not do a job for Tottenham, and that is none other than Bosun Lowell. So they signed this guy in the summer of 2021-2022. I don't believe he played a game. I haven't seen anything about him, so yeah, I don't think he played.
Yeah, not a very good sign. There's a lot of these ones like down the bottom end of this list, and then there's like a few who played a few games injury hit, and so let's not expect world-renowned names here at the bottom. But this guy we put in at last place, because why not?
Coming at number 28, we have Liam Shaw. Another guy that Ange signed in his first season. He played 1 game for Celtic. I believe he then went on loan at Motherwell.
I believe he played the first game of the season, didn't he?
I think he might have.
Against Hearts.
I mean, this is when Celtic were in bad shape. But this is the guy that's played 1 game for Celtic over 2 seasons. And you know what? He's lucky to be 28th. That sums him up.
Yeah. Lucky to be 28th out of 29.
Yeah. Up next, we have Johnny Kenny. And if I'm right, I don't think Johnny Kenny played a single game for Celtic. He was signed from Sligo Rovers for 125,000, which, I mean, when you think about it, that's not peanuts, not in the Scottish game.
Oh, I tell you what, if it's not peanuts in our game, what's it in their game?
And yeah, well,
it broke the transfer record.
Yeah, it was a big deal for Shamrock at the time, and Johnny Kenny has not played a single game for Celtic as we speak. I believe he went out to Queen's Park on loan and then back to Shamrock Rovers on loan. So yeah, I believe he's still at the club.
I think he is still at the club.
But he's not doing anything.
He's got like the most generic Irish name of all time. Johnny Kenny.
There's no point in this guy existing. And I don't mean that to be mean, but
existing at the club. He can exist in his own life if he wants to.
Aye, well, I mean, he doesn't have to die, but I mean, in terms of being a footballer at Celtic, his career's over.
Aye.
So he may as well just move on.
Joey!
Up next, in 26th place, we have Joey Dawson. Another guy that came in the 21-22 season and played 1 game for Celtic before getting moved to the Celtic B team, where since then he has played 17 times for the B team. And funnily enough, he's got 17 goals as well. So he's averaging a goal a game for the B team. Not saying that makes him great, because, I mean, the B team isn't that good, but here, is he a guy that potentially could get another chance at Celtic? He is only 20 years old, but yeah, I mean, he made 1 appearance. So he's not going to get any higher than 26.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? If he translated his B team form into the A team, he'd be higher up this list. That's for sure.
Yeah, if he could score 17 goals, if he could score an average a goal a game for the main team, then he'd be one of the first names on the team sheet. But he's not done that. Up next, we have, I'm trying to pronounce this correctly, Osase Uragodi. And
wait, if you actually pronounce it, you're Hoghide.
You're Hoghide.
You're Hoghides.
You're Hoghide. This guy came in, £150,000 transfer from Sheffield Wednesday, and he didn't play a single game for Celtic. which makes me wonder why he's above some of the guys that played one game.
I mean, I'm not going to kiss Ange's ass, but I feel like everyone we've mentioned literally is not his signing.
Yeah, I think that could be the case. I wouldn't be surprised if these bottom 5 are guys that he didn't bring in, because they've done absolutely nothing.
No, you've got to bear in mind, see when Ange first took over, like, they weren't making the sign. It was these guys they were bringing in initially.
Yeah, it was.
And it was like, what are they doing? What's this rebuild?
Speaking of someone, though, we did know that Ange signed 100%, and that is number 24 on this list, Ideguchi. So, Yusuke Ideguchi came in, and I felt like there was a lot of expectations on Ideguchi because he came in the same transfer window as Hatate and Maeda. We'd already seen previously how good Kyogo had been. So
there was also hype. They were saying that, here, wait till Ideguchi comes back for injury. Apparently, he's the best of the bunch.
Yeah, he was supposed to be
the fucking worst of the bunch.
He was supposed to be the best of the... Well, can we really
the bunch went rotten.
Can we say that, though? I mean, has he really had enough run of games to...
Hold on, right? He played how many games? Did he play like 4? 5?
3.
Right, he played 3 games. Surely if this guy was better than all these players we've just mentioned, there would be a glimpse in there. There would have to be something. I'm not buying he's better than Kyogo and Hatate and he did nothing.
Well, he had 3 games, mate. It's not that many games.
Look at Tate's debut. Look at his first game against Rangers.
Well, he played them. That's because Rangers were pissed.
What's Ideguchi doing?
Anyway, Ideguchi coming at number 24. A guy that came in with a lot of hype and just did not deliver. Speaking of another guy that I think came in with a lot of hype, that is number 23. It is going to be Olivier Albogard coming in from Rubin Kazan. He was one of 2 players to come in that transfer window. Now, apparently it was only a temporary fee. A temporary transfer type, whatever that means.
It's kind of like a loan, isn't it? I think it was actually to do with the fact that Russia... Like, I don't even know what's going on with their league. It's probably something to do with that.
Anyway, so he came in to loan on Celtic, I guess. It was like a half loan, half permanent transfer, but he didn't do that good. This guy was supposed to come in and basically be a starter. He was supposed to come in and be like the CDM. He was going to replace McGregor and allow him to push further forward, and that just did not happen. The guy made 6 appearances and just didn't do anything.
Yeah, a lot of talk though. This guy was going to be like a staple hold in that team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was coming in.
It was no fucking...
I literally just said he was coming in to be the new CDM.
Yeah, but I was giving my opinion. He wasn't. He was.
Your opinion's the same as mine.
He played 3 more games than Ideguchi.
So there you go.
Yeah, what, so 2 people can have the same opinion?
No, but I don't see the point of repeating it. That's like me saying Johnny Kenny's pish, and you go, aye, my opinion is pish. I mean, if I
would say my opinion. I've got a stronger vocabulary than that, my friend.
Well, it's a shame Albegard didn't have a stronger style of play or whatever. He might have been...
He was pretty shite. You've already covered he was shite. He might have been
further up the list. Now, coming in at number 22, we have another signing that I think is debatable whether or not it was an Ange Postecoglou'S signing, and that is James McCarthy, who came in to Celtic from Crystal Palace on a free. Just a typical Celtic signing. He's got the tricolour next to his flag or whatever. So
this is a typical. This was like a Celtic signing, but a few years out of date. Now, if they signed him when Rangers were dead and buried in the lower leagues or just up, I feel like James McCarthy would have literally been...
I'm surprised McCarthy didn't walk into Celtic Park with James McLean holding his hand, to be honest. 2 of them walking in together.
We're all in this together.
But yeah, McCarthy just did not have a good time at Celtic. And when you look back at McCarthy's career...
Celtic School Musical.
He actually did have a good career, Premier League, when he was younger.
No,
now, maybe it didn't last that long, and I don't know, maybe his prime finished a lot quicker than most people's, but I'm not going to say he was a bad Premier League player.
It was injuries that took their toll.
Because at a time when he got the big transfer from Wigan to Everton, and I think at Everton he was a good player. I think he was certainly solid.
Yeah.
He was, I would say he was a decent Premier League player. But once he moved to Crystal Palace, he just didn't really have it anymore. And then he went to Celtic and he played 12 games and done absolutely nothing. So
12 games and the amount of money he'll be on.
Yeah, that's one of the worst signings. I think if you factor in his wages, because, like I said, coming for the Premier League, he's not going to be cheap. Yeah, it's definitely a bad signing, but when you played 12 games and some of these guys have only played 0, I think it's enough to get you above them.
The big 0.
Coming in at number 21, we have Liam Scales. Now, if we were basing it on performances in terms of the last like 2 seasons, I think Liam Scales would be a lot higher than 21. But we're basing it on him being a signing for Celtic and what he done at Celtic, and he just hasn't really done that much at Celtic.
He's not done that much at Celtic, but for the likes of Aberdeen, he's done enough.
No, I think he's been good for Aberdeen.
I mean, that goal against Rangers, I mean, don't know if he meant it, they did not mean it. But you know what? He stepped up to the task and he put it in. But again, I think he's done a decent signing for Celtic in terms of he's done nothing for them, but I feel like when he comes back, he can do a job for them. Or they'll like sell him on for a fee.
Yeah.
When I say fee, I'm not talking millions here.
He only played 5 games for Celtic. He did get that 1 goal though, that important goal, and he's had a decent, spell at Aberdeen. Would Aberdeen like to make that signing permanent? Possibly. How much would Celtic want from him? We don't know, and to be honest, that's a totally different video. But right now, we're putting Scales in at 21. I feel like we've done him a little bit dirty, but at the end of the day, he did only play 5 games.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but he got a goal, so in my opinion, he's better than everyone before. I don't think anyone below him actually had a goal for Celtic.
No,
some of them didn't even have a game.
That's
so
mad.
I think he's the first person on this list to actually score for Celtic.
The guy up next though certainly won't have a goal.
No, he's not got any goals.
Starting goal,
and it's Benjamin Siegrist. I thought he was a really good signing at the time when Celtic made this transfer from Dundee United. However, he just didn't really get a chance. Joe Hart was preferred.
The problem is, you felt that they would have played him more. That literally Joe Hart was playing every cup game, bar like 1 round of 16 match.
Yeah, I think Benjamin Siegrist in his time at Celtic has made
he's
2
injured.
appearances, I believe.
He's injured now. I don't know when he got injured from. Someone said in our feed like January, February. But let's be real, if he wasn't, would he really be playing much more than what he has done?
I think he made 2 appearances in the Cups, so I'm not entirely sure. Wikipedia is down at the moment, but yeah, I'm saying he made 2 appearances in the League Cup, and that's it. Benjamin Siegrist, good player, but he's not been given a chance, so therefore, as a signing...
Yeah. Benjamin Siegrist could easily have played all the games Joe Hart's played, and Joe Hart could have played the games he's played and would change nothing.
Yeah, no, Celtic still win the treble. With Benjamin Siegrist in nets, they still win the league. I mean, you could argue they actually do better with Siegrist in nets, but
Joe Hart's a floppy machine.
Yeah, but who are we to judge? Coming in number 19, we have Moritz Jens, a player that I actually thought was decent and just didn't. He wasn't really.
Yeah, it's almost like here we've signed Kobayashi. Now you can just go back to France.
But I mean, looking at Kobayashi, I think I'd prefer Jens.
Yep, but that's just the way it works. So sadly,
now yeah, he did play 20 games for Celtic, and I for me at the time, I felt Jens looked better than Starfelt.
It's mad though, this guy played 20 games and they sent him back.
I thought at the time he looked better than Starfelt when he came in. I thought him and Carter Vickers looked like the better partnership out of all the centre-backs at Celtic, but...
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
It's a really weird one.
I guess it was only on loan, and if Ange doesn't see him signing him permanently, then might be one of those ones, well, just go. We're bringing in Kobayashi.
Won the league by December, mate. Just go.
Yeah. So yeah, Moritz Jensen coming in number 19. Coming in number 18, we have Kobayashi, who we've literally just spoke about. Kobayashi.
Looks too weak. Looks a bit of a bomb scare, but there's times he's looked alright. It's just a few games. I feel like it's really been without Carter Vickers, where this guy doesn't look that good. You can maybe argue, compare it to Ben Davies when he's not tag teaming with Goldson. He just looks awful.
Now, he has only made 5 appearances for Celtic, which ain't a lot.
Holy fuck, only 5?
Yeah, only 5. And even when Carter Vickers was out, it's like, I mean, they weren't even putting him in Starfelt. They were like dropping Awata in there as well.
Now, you got to bear in mind, he only signed in January there. A few of these guys obviously been here 2 years.
But why I think he's so far up this list is because he was a free, and he is young. So he's only 22. I mean, this guy could still come good. It's not. I wouldn't say he's garbage just because he's not played well.
Exactly, yeah. No,
I mean, right. John Suter didn't get off the best start at Rangers, so we'll give UK Kobayashi some benefit of the doubt here. And plus, if he does turn into a good player on a free, then, like I said, 22. Who knows? Next couple of seasons he could improve, and he might be leaving Celtic for a big £1 million. Well, not £1 million, but multi-million transfer deal. So,
exactly.
I mean, or it could be a dud and get shipped out this summer. We don't know. We'll find out, I guess.
We'll find out, man.
Coming in at number 17, and you know what? I think this guy's been a bit of a flop. It is Alexandro Bernabé. Now, I believe he cost Celtic around 4 million, maybe 4.3 million.
Yeah, rising to 5 potentially.
Yeah, so it's just not good enough. I think it's 3.7. But with add-ons as well, so yeah, just this guy I don't think has been good enough for Celtic, and it's like he came in and his job was basically to overtake Greg Taylor, which isn't exactly the toughest task to do, and he hasn't done it.
He's alright, but I feel like if you're spending that amount of money on a fullback, he's got to start. And it's the same with Yilmaz at Rangers. I feel like if you're spending like big bucks, they should be replacing the person that's there.
Yeah, and he hasn't done that. And don't get me wrong, Greg Taylor has upped his game quite a lot in the last couple of seasons. I mean, Greg Taylor, I think, is a bit unfortunate that Scotland just have to be currently possessing probably the best generation of fullbacks we've ever had.
Best left backs in the world.
Or else he would be in there.
Name me another country with like that amount of depth in left backs. Now England have got really good right backs, but in terms of left backs,
yeah, no, it's crazy. It's absolutely
like, it's mad to think Tavernier's like probably like, you know, like England's like 7th choice right back.
And the mad thing is, like, everyone thinks Robertson and Tierney. You could argue the best Scottish left back's Hickey.
Yeah, you could, exactly.
So, I mean, but yeah,
and then you've Greg Taylor.
Yeah, then you've Greg Taylor.
We've got what's that guy? Played for Hibs.
Josh Doidge.
Exactly, Josh Doidge.
Stephen Kingsley, if you want to stick him in.
No, right.
Fair enough.
Too far.
And then at right back, you've got like Nathan Patterson, Calvin Ramsey.
Lee Wallace as well.
Lee Wallace.
Stevie O'Donnell, right back.
Stevie O'Donnell, best right back in the world.
That's plenty, Jack. Let's move on.
Anyway, Bernabé 17th.
I'm going to shit my pants, guys.
Up next, it's Haksabanovic.
I need to go change my boxers here. I've shat my pants.
Haksabanovic coming in for 1.7 million. I think he's overrated. I think he's been a bit of a flop. Hasn't done it for me.
Yeah, but he did it in a Football Manager save, man. He has to be alright.
True. 26 appearances, 5 goals.
Yeah, and what the thing is, yeah, I mean, I'm not obsessed.
Is he any better than James Forrest?
I'm not obsessed with Celtic, right? But see, anytime you watch Celtic and it's like late, he has missed boatloads of chances.
Do you remember that game where I took Celtic to win 3-1?
Against Rangers?
Aye,
and he couldn't fucking score, exactly.
It was like worth £300 or something, and every time he got like multiple chances late on, one-on-one, and couldn't fucking score. Pissed me off. Anyway, he's coming in at 16th.
Easily like the worst winger at Celtic in terms of like who actually is in the core group.
What I will say about Haxer, but I'm not saying he's a bad player, right? But he will never be a starter for Celtic. Will he start games? Of course. But he will never be like a Jota or a Maida where you expect him to be the first name in the team sheet. This guy will be a squad rotation player for his entire time at Celtic.
Exactly.
He's not going to be the first name on the team sheet. He's never going to be considered the starting right winger or the starting left winger because he's just not that good. So that's.
No. I mean, he's 24, but I still see anything in him.
Coming in at number 15, we have the new signing for Japan this season. I believe it's only on loan, and it is Tomiki Awata. And again, this is another guy that came in. I believe he won Japanese Player of the Year.
Is it not a loan, then he's going to join them eventually?
I think that's what it is, but we don't know the transfer fee. Now, I believe he was the Japanese Player of the Year last year. And he was voted Player of the Year, and he was also named in the best 11 of the season. But for me, I just haven't really seen it. This guy was coming in, and we were told he was on par, maybe going to be better than Callum McGregor.
Which is a big point to make, and also for him to prove. But interesting, with Ange leaving, will that option to buy not be sought after? I don't think it will. Whoever the new manager is might not want him, but I'm not saying he's been bad, but he's not blowing me away. He's not been a tie.
No.
The tie's the benchmark for like the midfield.
And you can argue that, these guys have only just joined, haven't had that many games, and that's fair enough, but I feel like Hatate, Kyogo, and Maida, pretty much, first few games, they were bang on it.
Look at Hatate, like I said, the game against Rangers, destroyed them.
Like, Kyogo came on, I remember Kyogo's debut for Celtic was 77 minutes gone on the clock against Hearts. And to be fair, he came on, I didn't think much of him. Yeah. And then the next time I seen him was against Dundee and he scored a hat-trick, so I was like, oh well, fuck. So, whatever. But, I'm putting Awata in at 15th. Can he improve? Absolutely. I just don't think he's been that great from what I've seen, but, I mean, who knows? Maybe another season under his belt and he can get better. Coming in at 14, we have Hawengu. He came in from Suswan Samsung Blue Wings for 2.5 million. That's actually making me hungry.
Samsung Blue Wings?
I don't like the thought of my wings being blue though.
Yeah, well, maybe they're not blue, mate. But weird name, but you know what? O's come in, he's did a job.
I think he's better than you make him out to be. I'm not saying you think he's shit, but I think
he's a B plus.
I think you've criticised him a wee bit too much. I think he's been alright.
He'll do a job, but he's not like you said about Haksabanovic. He'll never be a starter, but he is better than Haksabanovic.
Yeah, I think the guy's got potential to be better than Giamakis. And I think when you consider that he costs less than Giamakis, he's a lot younger than Giamakis.
He's quite young, actually.
I think it makes sense. Guy's only, 22 years old. He's got 6 goals and 16 appearances, right? It might not sound great, but when you consider how many of those appearances have literally been for the bench for about 20 minutes to go.
Exactly.
So I think he's actually had an okay career so far at Celtic. I think he will get better next season, and he is a South Korean international. He's already made 3 appearances for South Korea.
Any goals?
No goals as of yet, but
Any goals for O?
They'll come, I guess. O's coming in at number 14. Coming at number 13, we have Joe Hart. I don't really have any stats for Joe Hart, but I'll give you one stat. He's absolutely fucking shite.
And he comes in at 13th.
So, any thoughts on Joe? For me, it's a no for Joe.
Right, I mean, put it this way, right? Celtic have signed a guy who's like I wouldn't say, is Joe Hart considered a Premier League legend? I mean, he won the league with City.
Yeah, I know, but anyone could win the league with City.
Right, he's well known. If you're looking at people who the Scottish League signed that were big names down in England, right? He's come in and he's won 5 out of 6 trophies, right? So on paper, it looks like it's been absolutely brilliant.
You know what I think the mark of a good player is? See, if you take them out of a team and then you doubt whether that team would still win the league. I think that's how you determine an important player.
So Joe Hart's 29th is what you're saying.
And for me,
Joe Hart could be lol.
No, but
sure.
Well, but look at Man City. You take Ederson at the Man City team and they don't win the league. Of course they don't.
I don't know, but that doesn't mean Ederson's bad. Ederson's brilliant.
No, I do rate Ederson, but it goes. You were pointing at the fact that Joe Hart was a Premier League winner. To me, that doesn't really mean much.
No, but
I can't say
Joe Hart 10 years ago was good. No, he's not that good. When I say he was good, I'm not saying he was fucking the greatest, but
I don't think Joe Hart was the main reason for Man City winning the league.
What did I say that? I didn't. Joe Hart.
Aguero, you know that's the main reason.
Joe Hart was better, undoubtedly, 10 years ago. Right? Let's not make any mistake about it.
Well, Joe Hart didn't help Man City win the league back then, and he certainly didn't do much to help Celtic win the league over the past 2 seasons.
Let's just move to 12 because Joe Hart's staying my tits in.
Joe Hart is Joe Hart's out here. Number 12, we have Giamakis. What's your thoughts on Giamakis?
Came in, did a job, left. Some people said he was better than Kyogo.
Yeah, let's talk about this, Sam. Like Ryan118 basically had a man crush on this guy, and that's probably why he rated him, because he'd probably shit his pants if Giamakis walked into his bedroom.
Like Haksabanovic did?
Yeah, probably.
2 shit stains for the price of one.
I don't think this guy was that good. 40 appearances for Celtic and 19 goals. That's not bad, I'll give him that. Averaging almost a goal every other game. But this guy certainly wasn't as good as Kyogo.
His first season was really poor until, I don't know, it seemed like he got all his goals in the last 8 games.
I think Giamakis wanted to be the number 1. I think he felt he should have been the number 1 and he should have been starting the games, but obviously Ange was Team Kyogo. I'm also Team Kyogo, but I don't think Giamakis was a bad player. I mean, for 2.5 million, and the fact that he did come in and score 19 goals and 40 appearances, which was pretty good, and then they sold him for more than that, 2.5 million. I mean, they made a profit on a guy who isn't the youngest. He's 28 now. So I'm
actually surprised they made a profit. Not that he's bad, but I feel like the Scottish Premiership, for someone to be a certain age and not really prove themselves to a level of, holy fuck, that was outstanding.
I think this was good business for Ange Postecoglou'S. He brought in Giamakis. The guy's contributed 19 goal-scoring goals to Celtic, and then he sold them on and made money on him. For me, that's a good deal. That's a good transfer.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
No, and maybe he should have been a little bit higher on this list.
Maybe there's 11 higher, actually.
Well, possibly. Coming in at number 11, we have Aaron Moy.
This guy's very high. 11th? Who the fuck came up with this?
He came in from Shanghai Port. What I will say about Moy is, when he's good, he's good.
But when he's bad,
but when he's bad, he's bad. And we've got to be honest, man, that this guy's form is so up and down. When he's on it, he legit looks like the best player in the league, I think.
He looks like Zidane.
Well, he literally does look a bit like Zidane. But no, I think when he's on it, he looks head and shoulders above everyone else. He looks like a player that's too good for Scotland. but when he's off it, he looks fucking dog meat.
He belongs at the Pyramid.
He looks like he should. He looks like he should have retired about 20 years ago. So he's a weird one. He seems to have spells where he's fantastic, and then he'll get injured for like.
Remember that
couple
game
of
against
weeks.
St Johnstone where he did like the Van Persie chip? Oh no, the Di Maria chip. Remember he did Di Maria's chip against Leicester? He did that, and he was like pinging out these outside the boot passes. Man, he was unreal.
Was it the St Mirren game? He was pish. And the game against Rangers, I think it was the 3-2 game against Rangers.
Yeah, the game against Motherwell, I think he was really bad as well.
3-2 game against Rangers, every single pass, it was fucking giving it away.
Yeah,
it was actually crazy. But
and Rangers still lost.
Why the hell is he 11th? He was a free transfer. That's why he's came in for free. And Celtic on occasions have got, I would argue, close to genuinely world class performances.
I would be surprised if he leaves this Adam boy. He'll be gone.
He'll be gone.
Wait, no, mate.
Could he go Spurs?
No, mate.
Do you think it was the Australian connection?
Yeah, mate.
Oh, well, fair enough.
Foster's good call.
Coming at number 10, we have Starfelt, a guy that we have criticised a lot on this channel.
If it was last season, he'd probably be 20th. But
but you know what? He's turning it around. Although this guy did cost $4 million, again from Ruben Kazan. That's three players Celtic have signed from there in Ange's time at the club. For a £4 million player, I remember this guy's first couple of months at Celtic. He certainly did not look like a £4 million player at all.
I wonder what would have happened though if Celtic never actually got Carter Vickers through on the last day of that window. Well, I think Rangers would have won title 56. That's probably what would have happened.
Probably could have. But no, Starfelt, I think the longer he's been at the club, the better he's got.
Yep.
I'm still not convinced he's as good as Carter Vickers.
Nope.
Although, I will say, I think in that last game against Rangers, he was probably Celtic's best player.
Yeah.
He looked like the only player that...
He still looked a bit shaky, but you know what? He did carry the defence. When three at the back four are having a shitter, then you need to step up, and he did.
I do think Celtic could do better, though. And I think if they want to be a force in Europe, they might have to do better.
Yeah, they will. I think there's no problem with him being the choice in behind the two starters. But then again, if you're spending $4 million on a centre back, does he not need to be starting?
I think so.
Now you look at Ben Davies for Rangers, he's pish, but it's like, fuck, you spent $4 million on him.
Yeah.
Come on, do the math.
But we'll see. We'll see. Because in Scotland, well, not just in Scotland, but anywhere, defensive players don't tend to cost as much as offensive players because it's viewed, whether right or wrong, that attacking players win games.
Yep.
And that is why strikers cost more than defenders.
Exactly. I mean, he's had 5 caps, he's 28, so he's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
Same age as Ben Davies, it's the same guy.
Now, he plays for Sweden, and let's be honest, Sweden aren't blessed with... This is not the best Sweden team we've ever seen.
No.
Starfelt will have been a part of the weakest Sweden team we've seen, to be fair.
Ever. The weakest Sweden team ever.
Oh, well, in my lifetime, aye.
Well, I know they don't have Larsson and fucking Ibrahim. Well, Ibrahimovic has been active, but
oh, come on, you used to have Lundberg. You used to have a lot of Premier League players.
I mean, how long was that?
Melberg. I'm talking like the mid two.
I'm on about 2023, mate.
I'm saying during Starfelt's time at Sweden, I think they've got the weakest team in my lifetime. I don't think that's an unfair statement.
All right, maybe. Wait, what about the early 90s? What were Sweden doing in the early 90s?
I can't really remember, but you want me to get Wikipedia and we can have a look? Alright, that's alright then. Starfelt's coming at number 10. Moving at number 9, we have a man that is being... Apparently, this guy, I think, will end up at Liverpool this season. £50 million, apparently.
He'll never walk alone.
He'll be walking all the way to Liverpool because that is the team that's interested in him, and it is Lille Abada. We know he's not happy really at the moment with the amount of game time he gets, or should I say the lack of game time he gets, but he got brought in for £3.5 million from Makia Petatika, and I think he has been a really good signing for Celtic. I think he should start. I think he's better than Maida. I just think Maida's pace and engine is... I think Ange preferred that.
Yeah. Abad is very unfortunate to not play as much as he does.
Maida, I think, gives you something that no other player does.
Yeah.
I think with his pace and engine. But a lot of times you see Maida getting hooked early, because I think after a certain period of time he's done.
No, absolutely.
But if we're talking...
And his finishing's fucking awful.
If we're talking on pure ability... I do believe that Abada's better than Maida.
Yeah, Maida can't finish. Abada can. Abada's goals. And Abada wouldn't have as much stuff, man, if he couldn't finish. Because he's off the bench most of the time.
See if Maida was... See if he wasn't a fast player.
He'd be shite.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be playing at Celtic.
Very similar to Moy. They're just two baldy retards.
But he is very fast, and that's pretty much the best part of his game, so therefore that's why he's higher up this list than Abada. But Abada, 20 goals and 70 appearances is not bad for a winger, especially when you factor in a lot of those goals are coming from substitute appearances off the bench. So.
And he's got a lot of assists. So.
And he gets into the Israel team as well, which not every player on this list can do. Moving into number 8, we have Josip Juranovic. So...
Union Berlin.
Controversial. Tell us your opinions on Josip Juranovic.
Alright, Juranovic.
Brought in for 2.5 million off Legia Warsaw.
Well, you know what? Maybe for that reason alone, the fact he's went for so much profit, he could be higher up this list. But guess what, guys? We've talked about, would that player make a big deal if he went missing or left the team? Well, Alistair Johnston's come in and made this guy look irrelevant. Really has.
I mean, you spoke about how he's went for a big amount. I kind of have a feeling that after a couple of years, Alistair Johnston could go for more.
Absolutely. I mean, it says 7.5 million. There was rumours of 25, 15, or 7.5. What you're getting, boy?
I believe there was add-ons as well, though. It takes up closer to 10.
Yeah, but for Juranovic...
But remember when the transfer...
A lot of Celtic fans would have said this guy was irreplaceable. You know what? Anthony Ralston, I felt had a better start to the season than this guy.
I know, I did too. But I mean, I remember when the Juranovic transfer saga was going on, it's like he was being linked to Chelsea, United, Barca.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to Union Berlin, but they are like a big step below these teams.
So I think Union Berlin might have got Champions League.
They did.
Well, there you go. Then. Good then.
Yeah, I know, but they're just not at that level. Those other teams.
Oh, I know.
And it's good for Juranovic, but honestly, Union Berlin's not a team you'd expect to be in the Champions League.
No.
It's like a one-off. It's a bit like a Frankfurt.
Don't need to mention Frankfurt, mate.
Oh, is that a touchy subject?
Aye, just like the Celtic dressing rooms.
Go and have a wee drink of that tap water. You'll be alright.
I'll be. It was toilet water, mate.
Toilet water, fucking even worse. Right, Juranovic coming at number 8. Coming at number 7, we have O'Reilly. Matt O'Reilly, a guy that I keep forgetting is Danish, not English.
Yeah. I also kind of think he's fucking Australian sometimes.
Alright, mate. No, that's a pish.
No, that's pish.
That was Nick at Geordie or something. Fuck me. Yeah, so thoughts on O'Reilly.
Good player, came in for a pretty small fee, didn't he? And then, you know what? I think his best period of Celtic was the 6 months initial one, so...
Yeah, I actually think he's got worse the longer he's been there.
Someone said, a certain Ryan McGinley said, wait, Matt O'Reilly's unleashed next season.
Yeah, I believe he also says that Matt O'Reilly is the player with the biggest ceiling at Celtic. Meaning that he thinks he will go the furthest out of anyone in the Celtic team. He's got the capacity and the capabilities to play for a bigger team than anyone else. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I
mean, it could. There's not many people on this list that are in that actual debate, but I mean, the fact he's in the top 7 I would say yes, he would have to be considered in
yes or no? Could he be a future Tottenham player?
Oh fuck yeah!
Well, there you go. Could Ange sign him?
I'd say most people. I'd say everybody in that top 10 could be a future Tottenham player.
I actually agree with it. I'm looking at this list, and one of them's already played for Tottenham.
I think there's a few. Yeah, you know what? Actually, looking outside of the top 10, I think any of them could. I know Joe Hart was a Tottenham player, but he got no fucking games.
Nah, no games. Anyway, Matt O'Reilly has had games, 54 games to be exact for Celtic. He's got 7 goals, and he hasn't made any appearances for the Denmark international team, the main team, but he has had 4 appearances for the under-21s, which I thought was worth mentioning.
That's 4 appearances for them.
And he also used to play for the England under-18s and 16s, but obviously chose Denmark. Could it be a case of he felt like Denmark would be easier to get international matches for? I'm not a big fan of that. We've had it over the years with English players choosing to play for Scotland. I don't like it, but I mean, whatever. We're not here to rank that. O'Reilly comes in at 7th. Coming in at number 6, we have Alistair Johnston. What is your thoughts on Alistair Johnston? £3 million costs for him to come in from Montreal. I seen him in the World Cup and I thought this guy does look like a good player. Montreal.
Canada.
Then obviously Celtic were linked with him. Ange brought him in. And for me, I actually think this guy has been better than Juranovic.
That's why he's on this list.
Especially from a defensive standpoint. I think Alistair Johnston I think he will move to a big club. I think
he will. You know what it is? So it's the snobbery of the Premier League. You know what? Someone could have very easily assigned him after the World Cup, but that's what happens. No club wants him. No Premier League club like, oh, we're not spending 2.5 million on that job.
3 million actually, mate.
3 million, 2.5, man. It's fucking peanuts when you're in the Premier League. But you're right. You know what? I think this guy. What age is he? He's quite young.
22.
I think he's one of the few people that could potentially break Kieran Tierney's transfer record.
Oh, do you actually?
Yeah.
I think Kieran Tierney's transfer record is going to be hard to break, because the thing is, Kieran Tierney was literally breaking into the Celtic team when he was, 17?
Yeah.
Then he had 4 good seasons at Celtic, and he was only 21. A lot of the good players we look at Celtic now, Alistair Johnson's 24 actually, by the way, I thought he was 22. A lot of the good players we're looking at Celtic are already in their early 20s. You have to consider that Tierney was getting moved to that stage.
Well, who do you think this Celtic team could break 20? I think if I'm going to Rangers, right? I think if Todd Cantwell and Raskin can produce what I think they're capable of, I think they could break it. Especially Cantwell.
I disagree. I disagree.
But they're both young.
They're not that young. They're
22 and 23.
Cantwell 23.
Yeah.
Fuck, he seems older than that.
There you go.
I mean, he really was fucking tearing up the Premier League when he was younger then. No, Alistair, I just don't really. I think out of everybody right now, and I think the person most likely to break the Tierney record transfer fee is Kyogo.
Tierney was
simply just due to the fact he's a striker and his goal contributions.
Yeah, but Tierney's worth more than 25 million. Just because I'm saying they're going to break it doesn't mean they're better.
No, he is, but I mean.
But if you remember that, right? Arsenal were bidding 15 million. 18 million, 20 million. Then they finally settled on 25. So it's a fucking joke that it actually took so long for them to get 25.
And even if Arsenal sell him, they'll probably make a profit.
Arsenal are selling him for less than 50, so work at it. And he's out of favour.
Unbelievable. But anyway, guys, Alistair Johnson comes in at number 6. Moving into the top 5 now, and coming in 5th place, we have Dyson Maeda. He came in from Yokohama Marinos, Thingy's former club, Ange's former club, 1.6 million. And at times we can question his pure ability and stuff like that, but he was the only Japanese player from Celtic to be selected for the World Cup, which at the time did come across as a shock, because I would not have guessed that. If you told me out of those 3 players, one of them would have got picked.
I thought it was going to be Noguchi.
Well, I did not think it'd be Maeda.
No, I didn't think it'd be Maeda, but you know what? His pressing game's a difference, and he was crucial in the World Cup against the likes of Germany and Spain, so...
He's 14 goals for Celtic in 51 appearances. I mean, it's not bad, especially for a player that isn't really on the pitch to score goals, in my opinion. He's just...
You know what? He's good, but his finishing's awful.
Yeah. If he was a better technical...
He missed about 20 chances in the Champions League. Literally.
I think if... I'm not saying that Kyogo doesn't press and Kyogo's not fast, because he is. But I think, see if Kyogo had the engine and this pace that Maeda have had, I mean, I think what a player you could make if you combined those two.
Yeah, true. Kyogo's not the slowest.
No, he's not.
Car in the garage.
No, I literally just said that. Coming in number 4, we have Jota. He was signed on loan, and then he was signed on a permanent transfer. And for me, definitely one of the best players at Celtic. Signed him on a permanent deal from Benfica. We speak about players that could potentially break the record transfer fee. Could this be one of them?
I think so. I think definitely. But to be fair, he is 24. Not as young as some of the other players. He got signed for 6 million. I think Jota would probably potentially go. I actually don't think he'll break 20 million. Personally, I don't feel like he had as good a season this season he had last year.
I do. If a Premier League club comes in from 20 million, it's not a lot. This guy could certainly break 20 million.
Is that you think?
No, that's not. I know for a fact.
I don't think so.
21 goals in 62 appearances for Celtic. Again, that's pretty good, man. He's averaging just over a goal every 3 games for a winger. Then you got to factor in that he does contribute with assists as well, and
exactly,
overall gameplay as well. I think Jota's a good player, and no, I do think that if he has a couple of good seasons at Celtic and if he performs in the Champions League, he could definitely go for over 20 million.
Alright, fair enough. I think Ange is going to poach him this summer though for around 15 million.
Aye, up next we have Hatate coming at number 3. I think the top 3, well, maybe top 4, I think they were really difficult to rank in this list. However, we did come up with the exact same order, so maybe it's not that difficult. But yeah, Rio Hatate, arguably, I think the reason actually why I've got Hatate in at number 3, and I actually think he might be the best player here, but I just think he's not as important to Celtic as the 2 guys above him, simply due to the quality Celtic have in his position.
Exactly.
That's the reason why I've not got Hatate higher up. I feel like if Hatate gets injured, then Celtic can replace him easier than they can, let's say, players in the striking position or players in the centre-back position, without giving away number 1 and 2.
Based off our list, that is proven, because you've got the likes of Moy, who is like the guy who'd be on the bench in order to come into that midfield.
Yep.
Obviously McGregor's not there because he didn't get signed, so based off the logic of the list, you're right.
So yeah, that's my opinion. I feel like losing Hatate is not a big a deal as it would be if Celtic lost some other key players, and yeah, I think you have to factor that into the signing as well. But he has been a really good signing, fantastic signing. 1.4 million from Kasawaki Frontal, and I believe that if he did get moved on right now, then I think you'd be looking at another big transfer fee. I mean, I think Celtic probably like at least over double digits in players that I think can go for well over 10 million each.
Yeah, that's a mad.
I mean, I'm looking at the list of players that they've got here, and I just see them getting 10 million easily for most of these guys on the list, from like 15th upwards.
So would you say the Celtic squad's worth near 200 million, potentially?
Easily, aye.
Yeah, easily, you are. So
I mean, we've got rumours of Kyogo being wanted by 30 million, so there
20,
you go.
30, 25, is he going to break it? Come on.
Is he going to break it? We don't know. But yeah, for Hatate, for me, fantastic player. I think he is the best midfielder Celtic have. I think he is better than Cal McGregor. I really believe he's that good. 49 appearances for Celtic. He's got 10 goals. He's only made 1 appearance for Japan. I was shocked, to be honest, when he never got selected for the World Cup.
But you got to look at it. I'm not really that shocked then if he's only made the 1 appearance. It's not like he made loads of appearances and then here all of a sudden he didn't get picked.
True, but at the time, I felt like when they were approaching the World Cup, Hatate was on the form of his life at Celtic.
No, he was, and then
I think you can definitely argue in the second half of this season he's not been as good.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think
there's a lot of hype about missing old firms left, right and centre, and did it really matter?
Yeah, I definitely think approaching the World Cup, he was on his A game, and that's kind of why I was surprised that he never got selected. But anyway, he comes in at 3rd place for us. Moving into 2nd place, we have Cameron Carter figures. He was signed in Ange's 1st season, but it was on loan, and then 2nd season, Ange made it official. Permanent fee of 6 million, rounding up to like 7, so yeah, it was 7 million in total. And what a player he's been. He's been a defensive rock for Celtic and head and shoulders above every other centre back at the club. He has made 72 appearances. He's got 4 goals in that time. He also went to the World Cup. He also had a good performance for United States, and just because he's already been in the Premier League, doesn't mean that he can't return. I mean, he did leave Spurs to join Celtic. I would not be surprised if his next club is Spurs, especially.
Weirder things have happened.
Yeah, I think Ange, out of all the players on this list, I think he's one of the players that Ange would want to take with him.
I think that's one of the moves that's most likely to happen, because you see it all the time. Like, we got Pogba, left United, came back to United. And here, out of all the teams in the Premier League, the guy that's managing Tottenham is Ange. And it was his former club. He'd fit in like a glove. He'd actually get the chance now. Surely.
And I think we'll find out which players Ange really rates. Because I think if Ange, now he's got the money, if he really rates some of these players, he'll come in and try and get them to go to Tottenham.
Do you think Ange will sign, will at least sign one of them? Yeah? Or would you be shocked if he didn't?
The reason why I think Ange will sign one of them, at least one, is because I think he can get them cheaper than he can other players. I think Ange...
He knows the market.
And he knows how good they are. And he'll know deep down whether he thinks they're good enough for that level.
Yeah, exactly.
If he thinks, no, they're only doing that because they're playing in Scotland, then he's not going to show any interest. But this is the guy that watches them training. This is the guy that has seen them in the Champions League. He's going to know whether or not he believes these players are good enough for the Premier League. So I think we'll see, guys, over the next month or two, just how much Ange Postecoglou's rates some of these guys. But out of them all, I definitely think Cameron Carter-Vickers is one of the players that Ange could be taking with him to Spurs. And now we move on to the last person on this list, and it is this season's top goal scorer. I believe he won the Player of the Year as well. It's the wee man. It is Kyogo.
Kyogo Furuhashi, top man, and it looks like that he will be the man that you think potentially is going to break the record fee. His goals, his numbers, they don't lie. And you know what, he's been the most crucial player to Celtic, his goals. It just seems like every time they needed a goal, crucial times in games, there he is. 5-yard tap in, bang, good night. Eases the nerves.
Yeah, I don't think you can complain with that. The guy's done a really, really good job for Celtic. If we look at goals in all competitions, his first season, 20 goals and 33 appearances, and then his second season, he had 34 goals and 50 appearances, and in the league, he had 27 and 36. That's really impressive. First season, he had 12 and 20, which again, I think is also really impressive. 83 appearances overall for Celtic, 54 goals. Yeah, and when you think about it, this is a guy that, because of Ange and his substitutions, Kyogo doesn't necessarily get as much game time as he would at other clubs. It's like with Ange's system. I think Ange likes to take his players off. We know how he likes to rotate them. He constantly he has this thing where he likes to make like 3 or 4 subs around the 65th minute mark.
Yeah.
That seems to be his signature move. So, I mean, we could be looking at a case where how many goals is he taking away from Kyogo by taking him off all the time?
No, exactly, but I mean...
Especially in the second half of this season, how many times have we seen Kyogo come off for 0?
Exactly.
Whereas maybe under another manager, Kyogo... I believe Kyogo's definitely fit enough to play the full game, so...
Well, Ange wants to give the 15 minutes spell, baby. So, fair play to him. But 54 goals in 83 appearances, that's what you need.
And you don't
That's almost like Larsson levels, that.
I think that is Larsson. See if you'd have just showed someone those stats, you'd go, oh, is that Henrik Larsson? You'd be like, no, it's Kyogo.
It's Kyogo, exactly.
And
way better than Edward.
I don't even think it's close anymore. I don't think it's debatable. When I look at those stats, people are saying the guy, so I've seen Rangers fans on our channel claim that he's worth like 10 million max. I think if you can get a player for 30 million in Scotland, it's going to be this guy.
Exactly.
When was the last time we seen a goal scoring record like this? It probably was Kyogo. I mean, it probably was Henrik.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, exactly. You're right.
So for me, I think the guy. If I had to make a prediction, I think he'll go between 20 and 30.
25 then? 23.8 or something?
I think it'll be a bit less than 25.
22 million.
Something around that. But yeah, for me, Kyogo, guys, number 1. I think he's been the best signing Ange has had. It's goals means everything in football. Doesn't matter how much good you are as a midfielder, goalkeeper, defender. There's just something about scoring goals.
And that's it, man.
I mean, a good tackle will never be looked upon as highly as a good goal.
Especially these days, probably a red.
You know what I mean? We could look at, Joe Hart's clean sheets. We could look at Carter Vickers. There's all the amount of sliding successful tackles he's made, but...
It's all about the Goals.
It's all about them guys, and Kyogo has more than anybody in Scotland. So that's it, guys. Kyogo Furuhashi is number 1 on our list. We have ranked all Celtic 29 signings under Ange Postecoglou's. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Bit of a long one, but don't say we aren't good to you guys here on Fog Football. We'll catch you in the next one. We'll keep you up to date as well with all the transfer news and Scottish football, so make sure you stay tuned to that. And until next time, guys, European qualifier starting soon. The draw will be made, I believe, next week, so we'll keep you updated on that also. How far will Scottish teams go? We'll find out soon enough.
How far can you go?